Let's check out the minecart, see if anything's inside it.
Nothing there.
I'll get my lantern out and light it up.
Erwin, rolls his shoulders and he turns and gives, a weak smile and he says, "Last chance to back out."
We've made it this far.
Yeah, this far is through the town. I don't know if that was particularly difficult.
But we also handled that bear quite well.
It died on its own. We did nothing to it.
Shh.
Hank is standing a bit forward right everyone else, and he breathes deeply and just whispers to himself, "No backing out. Not again." And he heads in.
Tedlington will take about 30 feet back, because he has dark vision, so he doesn't need to be in the circle of light. So he'll be about 30 feet back, watching mostly the rear.
That is at the edge of the light because he has dark vision, and he would rather not be the one targeted first by whatever might be in here.
Sounds like a good idea. The mine is dark, and the tracks continue forward along a roughly hewn stone floor. Periodically, you pass by wooden support beams keeping the ceiling stable. Every other beam is fitted with an old oil lantern. It is a narrow tunnel, surprisingly. It's only about enough room for 3 people to walk abreast. Even with dark vision, it's an eerie place to be, an abandoned mine, especially after what you had just witnessed in town. I imagine most folks are on edge as they trudge through the dark.
Do we see any tracks? Not the minecart tracks, but the other people who supposedly came this way.
At the moment, you can make a check for that. 23. You're a seasoned investigator. I'm sure that you have your ways of, tracking and keeping tabs on people and following footprints. And there's very faint evidence of scuff marks and disturbances in the thin layer of dust on the ground, rocks and dirt. You can see the vague outline of multiple sets of footprints here and there. People definitely did go this way.
Perfect. Thank you.
After a few minutes of walking in silence, you come across an intersection. The minecart tracks continue forward into the darkness. To the left is a short tunnel that ends in a massive pile of rubble, likely caved in a long time ago. To the right, the tunnel extends further, and you can see a very faint light down it. A normal light. Another overturned cart lies in the right tunnel. As you guys probably stop at this intersection, you notice, Garan, footprints leading down it along the leftmost edge. They aren't traditional footprints made by dirty boots, but they seem more like they were made of partially melted metal. They seem erratic, as if whoever had left them was struggling to walk straight.
Well, that's disturbing. I'll point that out.
What kind of metal?
Erwin raises his lantern to look where you point. I don't know. He seems actually kind of at a loss for words. He looks down the tunnel to the right. Could it be maybe one of the missing militia?
Seeing the metal has been pointed out, Thad would
Yeah.
like to look at the metal and see if it matches.
It's not opalescent iron. It's the same kind of metal you would expect to find in any kind of armor, like iron or steel.
That's what he needed to know.
What do you all think? Continue down the path or see what this light is?
As far as the footprints go, were they going down the tunnel or coming from the tunnel?
They were basically coming back from whichever direction you're heading towards and going down towards the light. So they were heading away from your destination.
I have a theory forming. So far, the only melted metal we've seen has all been normal steel or iron. But yet, in your adopted father's forge, we found this opalescent iron, which leads me to think he may have been specifically picking this rare metal for whatever he was making. I think the blacksmith may have had an idea of what was going on, or at least how to deal with whatever melts normal iron and steel. So I think we doubly need to find the man, because, no offense to you, but if it's gonna melt metal, that's some pretty serious stuff.
Erwin does chime in and he says, well, the mine has been dry of opalescent iron for 20 years, and the armor he took with him wasn't made of it.
Well, I mean, we did find empty armor stand and empty weapon hooks in the lockers, so if a blacksmith knew how to fight, are you saying he wouldn't keep any of his best stock for himself? Because I know I would.
He took his adventuring stuff with him. That was his gear he used to use before he moved here.
Okay. Well, we probably better just keep moving.
The tunnel leads you about 100 feet before ending in a modestly sized room. 4 large wooden support beams rise up to the ceiling about 10 feet up in each corner, across which many sturdy rafters crisscross. Scattered about are many wooden crates of various sizes, most sealed shut, others are rotten and splitting apart. There's a myriad of mining tools such as pickaxes and hammers laying scattered across the floor, most rusted and useless from decades of neglect. A rack for storing them is mounted upon the back wall of the room. A table sits near the back right, upon which sits an overturned and lit oil lamp that flickers, threatening to go out. The most striking thing, though, is the body in front of the table. Stout in stature and laying face down, most of the body is covered in a mangled, half-melted suit of armor. The exposed parts are gray and flaking. The left hand is completely gone, and the right is missing all of its fingers. Erwin sees the body second. Is that one of... And as he gets closer and shines his light upon the corpse, he just kind of freezes where he stands, and you can see his hand shaking as he holds the lantern. And he says, "God damn it. We found the blacksmith. I'd recognize his armor anywhere."
Silently, Hank is with him, and he puts his hand on his shoulder without saying anything.
He walks shakily forward.
Thad is trying to give him a moment and just searching the rest of the room.
Okay, make an investigation check for me. Garan and Tedlington, what are y'all up to?
Looking at the light.
Tedlington's, after he hears Erwin's reaction, he'll actually stand at the door and watch the hall, specifically turn his back. Even he feels this is a bit of a tender moment and would rather be quiet.
Erwin shakily approaches the table. He visually looks at the note, but looks and kneels down next to the body first. "You stubborn old man. Why'd you have to play the hero?" "He told us so many stories. He'd done some crazy things. I don't know how much of it was true, but if this, whatever's going on, got him..." He stands up and sort of grabs the note off the table. "What hope do we have?"
He struggled to make it to this room. We should figure out why.
Well, he struggled to make it back to this room.
Erwin shakily looks over the note, and Hank, you're standing with him, so you can get a look at it as well. It's actually written in English. It's very roughly scrawled on the page. "I could not do it. A hopeless endeavor. All it touches must surely wither. From the deepest depths to the highest peaks I have traveled in this life. What lies below is beyond everything I can fathom. That light, it screams out of the eyes of the dead and the dying, screaming a mad confession so blasphemous that I do not doubt its veracity. Everything is wrong. Lunacy grows below like a fungus. By the gods, it's so bright." Erwin just kind of squats down before just slumping on the floor, clutching the note. "What now?"
Hank would look to the group. "We keep pressing forward."
There's still Abigail.
He shakes his head, even though you can clearly see he's crying. "I'm not going to give up. I refuse to be selfish and flee like a coward." And he gets back off the floor. "I know that Abby might be dead, probably dead, but she's strong. She's a wizard, as am I. She had a better chance to withstand whatever aberration lies below. I cannot leave without trying to find her, or what happened to everybody else. I know you guys are outsiders, but this town, they were my family. Breaker, Basira, Marsh, Old Farmer Ward. I couldn't live with myself if I just abandoned the search now."
No one's asking you to.
"I know. I'm trying to get myself together. Breaker LeGrasse was a tough old bastard, and we didn't always see eye to eye. But he took care of me and Abby when our mother died, and I'm not just gonna let him have died for nothing. Whatever the hell this thing is, I'm gonna give it a piece of my goddamn mind."
And with that, Hank has a little bit of a smirk as he sees Erwin has gotten some of his spark back. "That's what I like to see. Come on, everyone, let's go."
Tedlington and Garan, is there anything you wanted to do in this room or in this space while you were here?
Investigate.
Investigate! I'm assuming you're just looking around to see if there's anything else that might be of use, maybe trying to find useful items or even just information, anything that might give you any more of that metal.
That is specifically paying attention to anything metal type.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so everything else that might be metal in this room, either the mountings for lanterns on the walls, the lanterns themselves, any of the rusting tools on the ground, all of them show no outward signs of whatever has been affecting the armor or the bucket. They just look like they would look if you had left it abandoned here in like slightly moist environment for 20 years. In fact, most of the tools on the floor are probably more rust than they are metal at this point. But as you're looking around and trying to find that and further investigation, Garan, you pry open one of these big boxes, and I'm going to leave the reaction for him, because inside is just stacks upon stacks of sticks of dynamite, neatly stacked and bundled together.
20-year-old dynamite?
Most likely 20-year-old dynamite. You, Thad, in your search, found several barrels filled to the brim with gunpowder, along with one box that's like half decayed away, and you can even just find the bags having like mostly rotted, and there's just like gunpowder sort of like piled up next to this decayed box.
What is the state of the barrel?
Barrels probably held out better.
Because I am proficient in alchemist tools.
Yeah.
I am going to take my crowbar, pop the lid on the barrel. I'm going to test the powder. I'm going to take a little bit of the powder out, set just a little tiny bit of it on the ground, and flick a little fire at it and see what happens. It's just enough to make a poof.
A poof is indeed had.
Wonderful. This gunpowder works.
You're in the mountains. It snows a lot. Like, they even mentioned it, that it's very snowy. It's reason to believe that when the snow is melting, or even during the colder months, that moisture could probably get in here. And, like, I don't think all of the gunpowder and all of these explosives are fully soaked. I think it just depended on where it was sitting and how it was stored.
Thad is a very practical person. Once he finds out it works, Thad is going to start pulling silk to make silk dynamite casings.
I'm going to say dexterity. It's working with your hands in a delicate process, so I think just a sleight of hand check. There you go. That's it. A 23. Just fine.
So I have 3 dynamite sticks and then a bag to do stuff with.
Yes.
Okay, I'm good with this.
All right, there we go. You now have bombs. I can't
Yes, I
see this backfiring in any way, shape, or form. While that's happening, Garan, is there anything you want to do? Like, he's making stuff. Are you going to investigate more? Are you going to see if any sticks in there that might be worth taking? What you going to do?
Sure. I'll go through the dynamite box.
Tedlington, what are you doing in the meantime?
Well, Tedlington's learning something. He's seeing this construction occur. He's thinking that maybe he should just bring a barrel with him. I assume they're quite heavy, so I figured he'd roll it.
A large barrel that's at least like 4 feet tall? And
Oh, so it's a very large barrel.
I mean, yeah, I'm not thinking tiny barrels. I'm talking like 55-gallon drum.
Oh, okay. So
There's a minecart back there.
exactly. That I had a thought as well. You see, we're on the same wavelength, friend. We only have to get it to the minecart.
Go for it, please.
He'll just, carefully, if anyone will help him, that would be wonderful. Roll it onto its side and just get ready when we leave the room to roll it back towards the tracks.
So you're going to make a strength check. And the fact that you rolled a 3, Tedlington, means that you definitely throw out your back. Oh, no. Roll with advantage now that Garan is helping you. And you still can't lift it.
Well, you know what? This is clearly impossible, and no one could do this.
So good. Erwin sort of like getting himself together, and he's like, I'm fine. And they're both standing to the side, watching you. And despite the fact that his father figure is lying dead on the floor, it's taking a lot of effort to not start laughing at you continuously attempting to lift something that you cannot pick up.
Erwin, do you happen to have any sort of lifting magic?
I can probably find a lever.
Oh, that sounds smart.
Do you think Featherfall would work?
Featherfall would work if the barrel were being worn or carried. Can I have some of that silk?
That is true. I've used 44 feet today so far, so that means out of 150, you still have 100 feet left you can work with.
Erwin steps forward and he says, okay. So I'm understanding right. You're trying to wear this giant barrel full of explosive powder like a backpack.
Correct so far.
I just want to make it clear. Very, very bad idea.
I just got caught up in the academics of it. I didn't think about the practicality for a second. Yes, that's a very bad idea.
Why?
Tedlington, Thank you so much for everything you've done for me, and I mean this sincerely. If one stray firebolt hits that thing, not only do you die, practically instantly, so do the rest of us.
Lucky for both of us, I don't know how to cast Firebolt.
But I do. It's a cantrip. I do it for free.
Well, maybe you should exercise some restraint. Well, I suppose if Featherfall won't work, then simply it's impossible to move this barrel and we should move on.
It's not that it's impossible, it's that it's impractical.
We could set it up as part of a getaway if it comes to that. If we end up running back this way.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a bad idea.
We can set
Also,
it up near the entrance, and as you said, just a firebolt can set it off.
honestly, with this many explosives in the room, I don't think it would take much more than just something nearby. Like, you just have to shoot one in that room's direction, and I'm pretty sure it would explode.
So I think we just roll it out to the intersection we were in, and
Alright,
that would
so-
probably be enough.
Make another strength check. This time you have extra help from everyone except for Erwin, because he's a wizard. And Hank, because he's old. With advantage, by the way, Tedlington.
How about that?
Even better,
No.
2! At this point, Erwin just says, this room is a powder keg. If we really need all these explosives, I'm fairly certain it wouldn't take much to set it off.
I have an alternative, perhaps my best idea yet. We open the barrel, and we just sprinkle gunpowder towards
Along the
the
ground.
entryway. Yes.
Tedlington, that was your one brain cell moment for the session. Here's a point of inspiration. So we have agreed that we are going to instead make a fuse that you are going to bring down the tunnel so that in the event that whatever hypothetical you were expecting, something might be pursuing you or whatever, you can blow it up and seal the place behind you. That's the general idea.
Why didn't we start with this?
Because Tedlington was coming up with the plan. Tedlington's hoping to one day get a friend for his brain cell.
You guys are going to just I imagine you just get a bag and you just kind of trail it along behind you as you leave this room. Knowing that time is of the essence, Erwin simply takes one final moment as everyone else is sort of doing their thing to pay respects to Breaker the Grass. And then he snuffs out the light from the oil lamp and turns and follows you all out. All right.
How far down from the mouth of the cave is this crossroads?
Probably at a 5-minute walk, several hundred feet. You guys return to this intersection with your path ahead clear. The tracks continue into the dark, sloping gradually down into the earth. The ceiling is still high enough to allow the group to stand at your full heights. The next intersection is met after a series of winding twists to the tunnel, through which you passed many other branching pathways filled with rubble. It's no different than before. Both to the left and to the right, the tunnel is caved in. Some of the minecart tracks divide off to the left and to the right, but they are worn and heavily damaged, either from years of neglect, but judging by the state of them, probably also due to whatever might have collapsed the tunnels. Erwin sort of shines his light down the left tunnel, and he states, I think I recall that Breaker ordered the mine mostly sealed off after they closed it down, to keep people from wandering in and getting lost in the tunnels. Well, why didn't you just seal the whole place?
I got a quick question. Are there any signs that miners would use to determine which way goes where?
No, they were probably made of wood, and they probably rotted away, or they're in such a state of disrepair that you wouldn't be able to tell what they said anyway.
Yeah.
But at least for the most part, your path has been a straightforward one, even if it's been serpentine in its shape. There have been no turns or lefts or rights. It's always been follow the track, and you'll be able to find your way back out, right? Sort of like the breadcrumbs. You're not going to get lost. So far, anyway. Eventually, 5-10 minutes, you emerge into a cave. Roughly the same size as the storeroom. The minecart tracks stop halfway into the room, with another overturned and broken cart lying at its end. A huge pile of rubble lies on the right side, but the most notable feature is the crack. A large, jagged crack splits open the wall in the back right of the chamber, with a spiderweb of smaller cracks radiating outwards from the floor and ceiling surrounding it. It starts narrow at the top and widens as it approaches the floor. A body lies propped against the wall to the right of the crack. It's barely visible in the light of your lantern, for those of you who do not have dark vision. Either way, there is only darkness beyond, and it's a little bit unsettling. However, that is not the only thing here. As you enter, you see a single mote of light, bright enough to illuminate the walls immediately around it. It is as large as a pumpkin, and is floating in the air directly next to the crack, unmistakably the same as the light that you saw consume Basira back in her home. It is coalesced into a shape that changes from moment to moment and swirls about, folding in on itself and fluctuating in ways that you find distressing to observe. I need every single one of you to make a wisdom saving throw right now. Alright, that's a 20, 18, 17. For those who failed, which is Thad, the light has a contradictory effect upon you as you see it twist and writhe through the darkened room. It repulses and terrifies you, but at the same time you feel the urge to approach it, to pursue it. It's nearly impossible to ignore, this compulsion to chase it down and destroy it. An all-encompassing, fearful hatred for this abhorrent thing shocks you to your core. For everyone else, you feel the same sensation, but it takes everything you can muster to stay put as the light darts back and forth in this room. With this failed save, what is Thad going to do?
You said Thad's going to try everything he can to destroy it, right?
I see where this is going. Yes, I do. First off, everybody roll initiative.
I assume I'm doing this and then initiative happened?
Yeah. Tedlington.
7?
Garan.
3.
Thad, you rolled an 8.
Yep.
Hank.
13.
And then Erwin. That's a 21 for Erwin. So first off, Thad. Make an attack roll using the lightning launcher against the thing.
It's an 8.
This is just like a ranged attack, correct?
This is the ranged attack with my lightning launcher, yes.
So 8 does not hit. Yeah, so what happens is you fire this lightning launcher, and this arc of electricity dances through the air in an instant, goes right through your target, and strikes the nearest conductive surface behind it, which is the body on the floor leaning against the wall. The light seems to have no reaction to your attack at all. It's as if you were trying to attack, like, a non-physical thing. Erwin says, "Thad, what are you doing?" He holds out his hand, and it glows purple before a purple fireball launches from his palm and sails through the air as he attempts to attack this thing as well. Despite having not lost his mind, it still made everyone freak out, and it's clear this thing is bad. The fireball sails right through this thing, and all it does is erratically dance left and right. It's almost like a jump cut. 1 minute it's here, then it's a little bit to the left, then it's a little bit higher in the air, then it's below, and then it's like right in front of your face, and then it's back to where it was. The fireball splashes harmlessly against the cavern walls and does nothing. Erwin just says, "Shit." Its turn. Not to be a bully, but you did hit it first. Since you were the one also affected by it, this thing vanishes and appears on the left side of the room. Then it disappears again, and you can feel its presence behind you. There's a little crackle of energy in the air. Your hair on your neck stands on end. And then it's back in the center of the room. And then it's encompassing Thad's head like a helmet. Thad, your AC is 18. It's pretty good.
Yep, because I have my shield up.
Yeah. The light grows incredibly bright. It's all you can see. Despite that, it has no effect. You're not sure what happened. Suddenly the light is gone again, and it is erratically darting around the room. Hank, it's your turn.
I think Hank's instinct would be to run and try and attack it.
What are you using?
A great sword.
Make an attack roll.
I don't think 9 will hit it.
You dart forward and swing your great sword through this thing. It's like attacking a cloud or like mist. It just goes right through. All that your sword manages to do is refract that awful, twisted light across the walls briefly. And that's it. And it's not like you even hit anything. It's like you swung as hard as you could through empty space, and your sword, like, keeps going and strikes the floor.
Okay.
Thad!
Yep.
Make another wisdom save.
Okay.
You are unable to shake off that blinding rage.
Okay.
13. So you're firing again. Once again, that arc of lightning shoots through this thing to no effect. Tedlington, You've seen some strange stuff happening. Curious to know his thoughts after that. Like, that emotion isn't gone. It's still like, this thing I'm looking at is wrong.
Well, his
Yeah.
first thought is to knock an arrow and draw his bow. And then his
Okay.
second thought is that he's felt things like this before. He felt a feeling and decided it was maybe not the correct one. So he's going to hold his action to fire this bow until it actually hurts someone.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And then the second thing he's going to do is call out to this thing, I guess, in its direction. Apologies, being. We were surprised by your presence. Please, stand down, and we'll do the same.
There is no reaction from this thing at all. No indication that it is even aware that you were here.
Finally, Tedlington will back up as far as he can while keeping this thing in his eyes.
Garan, your turn. So far, you've seen one party member act out of character, and not much else, admittedly, aside from that overwhelming emotional reaction.
Can I use a knowledge arcana check to gain some insight into what sort of creature this is?
You can certainly try. With 10, you have never seen anything like this before. The way it moves through the air, the way it seems to fold in on itself, it's... Even now, with you having a grip on yourself, it hurts to look at, and it's really distressing, and you don't know what to do about it.
Alright, I'd like to use Insightful Fighting. It's a bonus action. It allows me to make an insight check against a creature that I can see, contested by the target's charisma, deception. And
Okay.
it allows me to use my sneak attack against it as if I had advantage, as long as I do not have disadvantage. I rolled a 20.
That's 6. No, it failed. Okay,
But
all
I'm
right.
not going to attack it this round. I'm going to hold my action until it tries to hurt somebody.
So now it's back at the top of the order then, with Erwin, who he tries to reposition to get away from it. He moves off to the left and sort of hugs the cave wall, and he like pulls out his book and he's like looking through like his spells, and he's like, I don't know why that went right through it. Shouldn't I mean, he's kind of babbling and rambling, and he shuts the book, points out a finger, and everyone in the room hears the sound of like church bells, like ominous bells ringing, as he casts Toll the Dead. It actually works. Surprise. Okay. This thing begins to like weirdly undulate and like shake around in its position, and then it rapidly disappears and reappears everywhere in the room. There seems to be no logic to its movements as it does so, and the like sort of like if it had an idle animation, like the sort of weird twisting and folding in on itself just speeds up. It just goes faster, and it takes 4 necrotic damage. And it is now its turn again. This thing, again, darts and shifts and moves about the room in ways that don't make sense. There's no rhyme or reason to its positioning, and without warning, Tedlington, suddenly your vision is engulfed by this otherworldly, indescribable light, to the point where you can't see anything else but that. That's a critical failure. So this thing seems to like engulf your head, and for a moment you feel like you're going to be sick, just based on like the emotions you're feeling. It's very overwhelming, but suddenly it's not around your head anymore, and it's to the left, and then it's near the ceiling. Then it's like 10 feet down through that crack in the wall, and then Garan, it's around your head. That's 17. Garan, you feel like a numbing burn in your face and head. You take 10 necrotic damage. Do you have facial hair?
Not anymore.
Once it darts away from you, some of your facial hair is just like decayed away. I think it's only fair then that Garan goes first because he was the one attacked.
That checks out.
So, go ahead. So that's an attack. That's just straight up an attack now, right? Like, is it a melee attack or ranged?
Ranged. I don't have a good concept of how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to swing my cane at it.
You swing, you like, really cool. You draw your cane sword and instantly go for like the draw attack slash. Like you draw it out and instantly swipe at it before it can get away. And your blade goes right through it as if you were swinging at a shadow, to no result or effect whatsoever. Tedlington, fire!
A 19.
Tedlington, you draw back your arrow and you fire it. It sails through the air and right through this thing. But despite the fact that it literally seems like you've done no better than everyone else, it sails right through. It reacts the same way it did when Erwin cast his spell. It begins to erratically shake and disappear and reappear everywhere at high speed, and its movements and sort of like the way it folds in on itself and writhes and twists and squirms in the air, it gets faster. That's a hit.
Okay, and that's the 11 damage.
11 damage? That's a lot. Awesome. Cool.
That's actually,
okay.
that is max for the longbow. That is max.
Fantastic, I will say. Fantastic. This thing seems to be erratically flickering left and right, and it's no longer seeming to like hover stationary in the air anymore. Well done. Hank, it is your turn again.
All right, I'm gonna try and hit this thing again.
That's a nat 20, boys!
As I've been swinging a couple times trying to get this thing, I swing to the left and then to the right. My sword goes into the ground like, boom, and I'm like, I sit there and wait as it's like teleporting around. I look to the right. There you are! And I swing to the side and hit him.
Even with that swing, you thought, oh, dang, I still didn't get it. It's sort of like all over the place. And everyone, you get this sense of like an energy building in the room. Sort of like the hair stands up on your neck and on your head, and you feel like this sort of like it runs down your spine as this thing rapidly teleports all over the place in this room. It takes one more like stop right in front of your face before it zooms backwards, splitting into multiple smaller little motes of light and disappearing down the tunnel through the crack in the wall. And it is gone. And we are out of combat.
I look back. Is everyone all right?
Thad, as soon as
Okay.
it left this room and vanished from your line of sight, you started to come to your senses. So you're no longer like frothing at the mouth like kill. It's just like
I kind of just fall on the ground and I'm like, what the crap was that? I look around like, what happened?
I don't know. Erwin just kind of like his knees give out.
I tried to speak to it, but I didn't notice any response. Garan, friend, are you all right?
No, but yes.
Hmm.
I don't have anything for this, so I'm just gonna take some water from my rations and water skin and just kind of rinse some of the burning feeling from my face off.
Erwin sort of shakes it off and he wipes his face. And he sort of looks over everybody in their various states of sort of disorientation and stress from the whole ordeal. And he walks across the room towards the body leaning against the wall. While he's doing that, he reaches behind his head and ties his hair into a ponytail. You know, if you're going to get into combat, you might as well not have it dangling about the place where it can get stuck and stuff. And he kneels and looks at the body while everyone else is sort of recovering.
Well, friends, I did notice one thing. I was able to shoot it. Which means we don't need special weapons or weird, shiny metal in order to interact with this thing. I feel like that's a win.
I hope that's as bad as it gets.
I hope it gets better. That'd be great. Or maybe we'll find that it was all a misunderstanding.
Feel free to make friends with it.
I attempted it once. I'm going to attempt it again in a different language next we meet. If we meet again. Does anyone speak floating light?
I speak celestial. That's close.
Oh, that is true. That is pretty close. Yes, let's try that next time. Just slip it in among the flying blades and canes and arrows and spells. I'm sure it'll be fine.
These things are about as far from the gods as they can get, whatever it is. I doubt Celestial will get you anywhere.
I speak infernal too.
This is one of the guards, one of the militia.
Does he have any identifying marks on him? Badge, insignia, anything?
The plate mail armor and the halberd. He points next to him, and there's like a wooden pole lying on the floor. And then at the end of the pole, there is just like a misshapen lump of metal that's fused with the stone, like with the cavern floor. So that the metal of the halberd is melted.
I'm learning, by the way. I just want to call that he points at Garan. He's like, I've been watching you. How many rations does he have left? See how long he's been down here? I've been listening.
Remember the vegetables. Nothing on him is... I doubt anything here is edible if there's anything left. I just see his armor. I don't see why... He, seems to be looking through stuff, trying to... There's nothing to search. Myrefall's, not even... It's just a couple hours walk. They wouldn't need to bring food. There would have been food here.
I need to determine if it's Giles or not. I'll use an investigation.
Giles was the son of the friend that was asking you to investigate, correct?
Yes, either positively or negatively confirm whether he is or isn't.
The body upon the floor is as deformed in appearance as the many others you have observed before. It's clad in melted pieces of armor, most likely plate mail. The helmet is practically fused to the skull, so any hope of identifying what little hair it might have had is, lost. The skull itself is shrunken and half disintegrated, though what remains of the face fills you with disgust upon observing it. I'm going to say that there's nothing on this person that leads you to believe it's Giles. They're too tall. Even with what little remains of the body, the armor gives you a good indication of how tall they used to be. And this guard is way taller than Giles is. So.
Okay.
Erwin just sort of stands up. He peeks down into the crack. Did he not even... He didn't even make it inside. Oh, God. It just keeps going. I can't see any further than about 10 feet in. Whatever this is, it's not anything that the miners dug out.
Well, no use standing around here. We've met one of those things, and we're only slightly worse for wear. Well done, everyone, by the way. Keeping it together. Excellent.
I mean, to be fair, Garan did lose more than half of his health in a single attack.
Yeah, Garan, do you need healing, right?
If you have them, yes.
Yeah.
Look at that! Got all of it back!
Praise be to Helm.
I hope nobody's claustrophobic.
I don't know what that means, so it can't hurt me.
Erwin kind of stifled. He's like, Thad, how are you doing? I'm assuming everyone wants to check on each other.
Yeah.
Thad really doesn't like things messing with his head. He likes thinking his way out of problems, and so he really doesn't like something messing with his head that much. Where it's he goes into a blind rage and can't fight smart, so it's kind of a mix of he's angry at himself for letting this happen, and he's angry at whatever did this to him. And with a little bit of that residual rage still there. So he's just kind of quiet and mad, but he's quiet and mad at partially at himself and partially at the situation. Get it together, you're better than this.
Awesome. So Tedlington sounds like he's going first.
Oh, God, no. Tedlington leads from behind.
I'll go first.
Okay. So everyone's going to follow suit because the crack is narrow and it only allows you all to navigate in single file. The darkness is oppressive even with your light cantrip and your lanterns awkwardly held to your side. You only sidle through this gap about 10 feet before it begins to open up, and you're grateful to be free of the awful scraping of armor against stone as you emerge into a tunnel about 9 feet tall, 6 feet wide. This tunnel is natural and old, with various stalagmites and stalactites along the edges of the open space that have long fused together from centuries of growth. Whatever cave this is, seems that the miners of Myrefall missed it by about 10 feet. The path ahead slopes more noticeably downwards, unlike the mine shaft before, and there is no sign of that wisp of light that had disappeared into the crevice. The tunnel twists and turns ahead into the dark, ever downwards into the bowels of the earth.
Everyone, keep your wits about you. There's no telling what could be down here.
Yes. What he said, I love it.
Words echo down the tunnel ahead of you. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Also, if I get some kind of blind fury, feel free to slap me.
Erwin just kind of casts his light on the stalagmites and he looks around. To think that this was here all this time? This place has to be hundreds of years old, maybe more.
Maybe there's another reason they closed the mine.
But they never found it. That crack was not there before.
We don't know what's down those tunnels they sealed off.
True. I feel like you would have mentioned it. Either way, onwards and downwards, I guess. You all start to spelunk, to descend. And it's quiet. It's a little bit unsettling, especially after your experience with that wisp of light. A Farlight, I guess you could say. It's not something that you can do mindlessly either. It's not like a super steep and hazardous path, but the ground is uneven. The cave takes a sharp turn left or right sometimes. There might be an occasional dip that's at least 3 feet down that requires a bit more care when navigating it. So it's not something that can be done completely thoughtlessly. Erwin eventually does try to break the silence as you navigate the dark in an effort to distract himself, maybe. I admit, Abigail is braver than I am. I've never liked caves or dark and secluded places. You know, Breaker had an old story of how he got wedged in a narrow tunnel when exploring. He shudders noticeably when recalling the memory. He said it took him 3 days to get free. Being alone in the dark like that, lost? Ugh. I admit he felt pretty bad. That story scared me. I guess dwarves tend to have a greater understanding of caves than folks like me, so he thought it was a funny story instead, maybe a bit embarrassing. Can someone else break the silence? I don't want to be the only one talking.
Would you like to hear a story?
Oh boy.
Sure.
Never a nobler man than my old livery servant, Chesterfield. He came with me on my very first adventure. We left to search for some missing children, and their parents were worried sick. My entire town was moving on, leaving. Not so strange to me to have a whole town move almost overnight where I'm from. But we were unwilling, Chesterfield and myself, to let those children go. So we headed off into the forest by ourselves. Just Wilbert and I. Just nothing but the clothes on our backs. We tracked the kids. We found berries strewn here and there. He was an old adventurer himself, you know. And we heard, in the night, as the night started to fall, wolves howling. Needless to say, we were quite concerned. But nothing would stop us to save those kids, because in the morning the town would be gone. No one would be left to take care of them. Time was of the essence. So we charged forth, me and Wilbert, and wouldn't you know it, just as the moon was rising over the trees, we saw them in the middle of a clearing. 2 poor kids, stricken, orcs like myself, but still young, well before their maturing. We charged out into the field just in time to see a pack of wolves doing the same. I grabbed a kid under each arm, and old Samson, he told me to run, that he would handle the wolves. And handle them he did. I heard sounds like you wouldn't believe of battle. So we ran, and I carried those kids for the rest of the night, made it all the way back to the village. Just in time, threw them in the back of a wagon, and their parents wept with joy. Though you know, now that I think about it, I never saw old Benson again, but I'm sure he's fine.
You must get up to that kind of stuff a lot, I imagine, out there.
Yeah, but I do think back sometime, and wish that old Benson were here. When times are tough, when I'm hungry, or cold, I've run out of silken tunics. I think of old Benson, and I wish he were there. But at the same time, his memory moves me forward. It's his thought of his amazing heroics that drives me forward. That it doesn't matter the situation, the time, or if I'm a frail old man and an ex-livery servant. I can just do my best at any time. And that's what he did, and that's what I'm going to do. So I can get sad or upset, blinded by rage. I don't even need to understand what's going on. As long as I know one person to help, I take that first step forward. And usually, the next step becomes clear. Just like now. It might be dark, and I don't know where we're going. I'm not really sure where we are, actually, to be perfectly honest. But each step forward leads me to the next step forward. And that's enough for me.
1 foot in front of the other, as they say.
Speaking of steps, watch yourself.
You're in the middle of talking, and there's a dip in the cave about 2 feet down. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw to not fall on your face.
That's fine. That sounds like a good dismount to my story. Let's see. A 5.
Oh no! For 1 minute, while you were busy waxing about your adventures, you kind of start walking ahead of everyone because folks are slowing down, but you're busy caught up in the tail. And then at 1 minute for everyone, there he is, Tedlington, orc adventurer extraordinaire. And the next minute, he just descends out of lantern light by like a solid 2 feet, and then more feet as you land on the floor and slam. Like your feet just don't catch you; you land on your ass. So you just like descend out of frame. Whoop! There he goes. You don't take any damage from that. It's 2 feet. You'll be fine. Walk it off. Erwin hops down and he holds down his hand.
I will
Help
take
you
that
out.
hand. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. You probably use the cave more though. The cave wall or something.
And no, it's perfect. And I'll say, see, Erwin, just one more step, and then the next one becomes clear.
No matter how rough it is. I think I misjudged you.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
You guys would have liked Abby. I think you would have liked her especially, Ted. Tedlington, sorry.
Well, we may still have a chance. I can always tell the story again on the way back up. Or I can tell a different story of the time I tried to replace old Smithers.
I'm sure she would have loved that. And she would have talked your ears off about astronomy. The stars. You know, she and the Baron had a lot in common there. Mom always said Abby had the stars in her eyes from the moment she was born. To think that it brought her down here instead.
Well, we may still find her yet. And imagine, if she's down there, imagine the things she's seen and could tell us. I'm quite curious about all this now that I've seen more of it.
Not sure she would want to retell it. But then again, I don't know.
How convoluted is this passageway?
It's a tunnel
Yes.
that goes forward. There might be a couple of places that like fork off, but they like quickly meet back up. Sort of like it's a straight path, even as it like winds into the earth. It's just a matter of keeping track of where you're going. Any paths that might branch off are way too small to navigate.
I'm gonna go ahead and mark our passing with chalk just in case.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, you can have been doing that from the start. I don't see why not. Yeah, okay, so there's a little bit more silence. Fortunately for everybody, right before Tedlington breaks into song, Erwin speaks up again to continue. Did you know that he and Abby were the first people in town to learn any magic? Not even Breaker. And he'd been around a while before coming here. They all used to call us the Magic Twins, and he like raises his hands and like wiggles his fingers in like a goofy way. Spirit fingers, almost. They would pester us to help around town with small tasks and stuff, fixing things.
How did you learn magic? I feel like that's a hard thing to just pick up on the side of the road, you know?
I went to Miskatonic, before the whole thing collapsed in a hole after the earthquake. It's a good thing I graduated before that happened. Many years of work, a lot of sleepless nights, and a lot of coffee.
You know, I meditated in a cave for a couple of years. Not all it's cracked up to be.
Why did you do that? I feel like when I start a day, I don't think to myself, maybe I'll go sit in a hole for a few years. I'm very curious.
I've lived a long life, always trying to figure out new things. Just wanted to see if it worked. I wasn't very lucky. I don't know how those monks do it.
I can't imagine how spelunkers do it, just being in a cave for any length of time. No, thank you.
Oh, I agree.
They look up and see Thad just sort of sitting there hanging from a stalagmite on the ceiling. He's been crawling along the walls and the ceiling this entire time, looking.
Erwin's just like, what is that noise? Like, oh, sorry. Sorry. Because, the light reflected off of your eyes. You guys have descended quite a ways into the earth by this point. It's been about half an hour. You probably haven't stopped to think about how deep into the bowels of the world you're going, but it's safe to say you're deeper now than you've been at all so far, and deeper than the mine has ever gone. It's about this time that the cavern ahead of you starts to level out. About 100 feet in front of you, you see the cavern begin to open into a much larger space. like a very large cave. It becomes quickly apparent, Tedlington, and Hank, and Thad. All three of you have dark vision, don't you? But that's not the first thing, although a giant cave is still kind of unsettling in just how big it is and how much you can't see in the dark. But the real thing that you're concerned about is two more bodies coming into view upon the floor, about 10 feet away from the entryway. They are lying face down, and they are positioned as if they were attempting to crawl towards you from the dark opening beyond. It becomes quickly apparent that these are more of the militiamen that went missing.
Are they dead?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. As with the others, their armor is badly melted, and the bodies themselves are disfigured and flaking apart, mostly decayed and disintegrated beyond recognition. There's something white and wispy that seems to be coating a large portion of these prone figures.
Like to check for identity.
Okay, investigation.
You said white and wispy?
Sure did.
What do you mean?
Solid. Something that's like covering the bodies and like attached to it. So it's not like a gas, it's like a solid.
Dad's going to take a look at that.
Okay.
He's probably going to
So-
take a dagger, try to scrape a little bit of it, see what happens.
Okay, well, Thad, as soon as you get close enough, you don't need the dagger to identify what this is because it's spider webbing. The second thing, while everyone sort of let that stew, Garan, by good fortune, once again, no sign. These are not the person you're looking for.
I'd say good.
It's becoming less and less easy to say that's great about finding dead bodies.
Precisely.
Can I tell whether it's spiderweb or Aracana spiderweb or...
It is spider. Like, considering how thick and large the strands are, you get a feeling this isn't like a house spider. Or someone walking through a web by accident and getting it in their mouth and being like...
Well, it seems either there are more of my kind in here or we have some bigger, more immediate problems.
Do me a lovely favor. Could you make a stealth check while you're talking?
I do not like the way that sounds.
Erwin says, "Oh dear. I know large spiders can make their homes deeper in the Cornwall Mountains, but I'd never heard of any being this close to populated areas." And while he's saying that, because of that failed save, you hear the sound of something moving in the cave beyond this little, like, alcove that you're in. Something scary.